Imagine, for a moment, a message arrives. Not from across the world, but from somewhere far beyond it. It tells us that a swarm of creatures is moving through the cosmos, drawn irresistibly to light. Phototropic. They seek out stars and consume the planets that orbit them. And then comes the warning. They are coming. Suddenly, humanity is faced with a question so vast, so unsettling, that it stretches the limits of imagination itself. How do you hide a star? Because that, ultimately, is what would be required. To survive, we would need to extinguish, or at least conceal, the single brightest beacon in our solar system, the Sun. At first glance, the idea seems almost absurd. The Sun is not a machine with an off switch. It is a colossal, self-sustaining nuclear furnace, an engine powered by forces that have shaped the universe itself. Deep within its core, hydrogen atoms are being crushed together under immense pressure, fusing into helium. This process releases an unimaginable amount of energy that radiates outward, giving us light, warmth, and life. Every second, the Sun emits more energy than humanity has produced in its entire history. So, turning it off? That's not just difficult. It borders on the impossible. To even begin thinking about such a task, we must first understand the scale of what we're dealing with. The Sun contains over 99.8% of all the mass in our solar system. Its gravity holds everything, planets, asteroids, comets, in delicate balance. If it were to suddenly disappear, Earth wouldn't just go dark. It would be flung into space, drifting endlessly through the void. So the challenge is not simply to switch off the Sun. It's to hide its light without destroying the fragile system that depends on it. One idea might be to block the light. Imagine constructing an enormous structure, a kind of cosmic shield, positioned between the Sun and the incoming threat. But the scale required is staggering. To fully obscure the Sun from all directions, you would need something like a Dyson sphere, a megastructure that completely surrounds a star. The concept, first proposed by physicist Freeman Dyson, envisions a shell or swarm of satellites capturing a star's energy output. But building such a structure would require materials on a planetary scale. Perhaps even dismantling entire planets to gather enough raw matter. And even then, maintaining it would be a monumental challenge. The forces involved, gravity, radiation pressure, solar flares, would constantly threaten to tear it apart. Another possibility? Dim the Sun itself. If we could somehow interfere with the fusion process at its core, we might reduce its brightness. But this is where physics becomes unforgiving. The conditions inside the Sun, temperatures of millions of degrees, pressures beyond comprehension, are not something we can simply manipulate. Any attempt to disrupt fusion would require energies comparable to the Sun's own output. In other words, to stop a star, you would need the power of a star. So perhaps, instead of turning off the Sun, we hide ourselves. We could cloak Earth, masking its presence. Massive orbital shades could reduce the light that escapes into space, making our planet less visible. Or we might alter our atmospheric signature, eliminating the chemical traces that signal life. But even this is uncertain. Because if these creatures are drawn to light itself, the Sun remains a beacon. A cosmic lighthouse impossible to ignore. And so we arrive at a sobering realization. Some problems are so vast, so deeply rooted in the laws of physics, that they defy any straightforward solution. Hiding a star is not just an engineering challenge. It is a confrontation with the very nature of reality. It forces us to think on a scale far beyond our everyday experience, beyond nations, beyond planets, beyond even our solar system. Yet, there is something remarkable in this thought experiment. Because in asking such impossible questions, we begin to understand our place in the universe. We see more clearly than ever how small we are and how extraordinary our existence truly is. A fragile world orbiting a brilliant star in the vast darkness of space. A star that gives us life. A star that one day might also give us away. And perhaps that is the final, unsettling truth. In the cosmos, light is both a gift and a signal. And if something out there is watching, drawn to that signal, then the question is no longer just how to hide a star, but whether it was ever possible at all.